Okay, Assalamualaikum. Very good afternoon, everyone.
Salam, Madam.
Salam, Madam.
Dengar tak? Okay. Can you hear my voice? Okay. Thank you. Alright. Okay. So basically hari ni saya just nak brief you on the apa nama? To reflect the activities previously. Okay. That you should not did from the last week punya activity. Okay. Then I'm going to brief also about the PBL question lah, PBL case, since I don't have a chance to brief you last week. So yang tu is quite important that you should understand about the case scenario of the PBL. Okay, then I will proceed with the data model. Okay. Okay, so let me share first my screen. Sekejap ya, saya dah record ni kan. Okay, saya share sekejap my screen. Semua dah lunch ke ni? Diam je. Okay. Alright, thank you for the response. Okay, okay, so this is the one I'm going to discuss today. The PBL question, data model. So actually data model ni is related to database design that we already discussed in chapter 24. Okay, benda yang sama sebenarnya, cuma kita refresh balik lah. Okay, then it also related to your PBL scenario jugalah, PBL question. Okay, then in this slide also have a pivot table punya slide, tapi pivot table ni saya tak akan discuss lagi hari ni. The pivot table I will we will discuss it next week. Okay, so kita settle dulu untuk data model and also the PBL. Okay, so I just want to recall, first thing nak recall previous activity dulu. So this is the one that I asked you to do last activity the previous week kan, dua minggu lepas ni. So sebab saya check ada lagi a few of you yang belum attempt the activity, the self assessment. So make sure you buat lepas ni. Okay, then I nak ingatkan you punya activity ni, every time I ask you to do activity tu you need to attempt lah, because I capture dia sebagai you punya class participation. Okay, sebab kalau synchronous class macam Google Meet saya tahulah saya boleh ambil attendance, tapi kalau untuk yang asynchronous, when I assign you the activity, so you attempt activity tu I will consider as your participation ataupun you punya attendance for that week. Okay, so please do all the activities that I asked you before. Then okay, so the chapter 5 and chapter 7 that you review on the slides tu, dalam MOOCs tu, so that one actually you go through the theory part of the data analytics ataupun data management analysis lah, the topic that we're going to discuss in the PBL, data management and analysis. So the theory about the data analytics, kenapa the process involved in the data analytics. Okay, semua tu discuss dalam chapter 5. And then chapter 7 is about the data presentation. So also related, continuous daripada discussion from the data analytics juga, data analysis. Okay, how you going to visualize the data from the analysis of data tu, untuk macam mana cara untuk report dia lah, untuk present dia. So semua tu related yang you akan buat apply dalam PBL nantilah. So you can apply all the theory tu nanti dalam PBL. So you boleh refer your text, but you baca slide tu mungkin ringkas, tapi kalau untuk go into detail lagi, dapatkan information detail, you boleh refer your textbook chapter 5 dan chapter 7. Okay, and then some more you punya webinar hari tu pun ada talk about the data analytic, big data. Okay, so just for your information, the coverage untuk you punya syllabus ni ada satu lagi about the area current issues. Supposedly kalau ikut lesson plan during week 13. So current issues is one of the area is about the data analytic. Okay, so biasanya every semester for the current issues so kita akan fokus kepada tiga area yang utama. So satu area will be tested dalam final assessment. Okay, so one of the area tu adalah data analytic lah. Cuma saya akan go give you detail about the current issues so kemudian lah waktu week 13 nanti. Okay, just untuk you punya information sajalah. Okay, here I just summarize the process that you should go through untuk data analysis, and then this also can be applied untuk you punya PBL jugalah. Okay, ini daripada kalau chapter 5 tu you boleh tengok in detail, tapi cuma saya ringkaskan so that you nampak the whole picture, the process involved in the data analysis. So the first process, normally the companies when they want to do the analysis, dia akan define dia punya objektif dulu. Kenapa dia nak analyze their data. Okay, begin by outlining objective which are clearly specified. The objective should be crystal clear to get the best result out of the data. So maknanya dia kena tahulah tujuan apa dia nak buat analisis tu. So nanti kita akan tengok dalam PBL pun they did mention about the objective of the analysis of data. So contohnya lah katakan in the company they have a mungkin kita ambil contoh sales manager contohnya, dia nak use data analysis to study the sales history of the product, okay, for example kan, ataupun maybe they want to do the use data analysis to determine the overall trend of their sales, okay, and then they can use also to produce forecast of the future sales, for example. So maknanya dia ada clear objektif kenapa dia nak gunakan data analysis tu, dia nak kenapa dia want to do the analysis of data. Okay, so that the first process. And then they also, the second one is asking question. Yang ni pun ada detail in the chapter 5. So need to find out the questions you would like the data to answer. Contohnya katakan daripada sales tadi, maybe the sales manager can ask dia punya question, what the total sales for each branch contohnya, ataupun dia nak tahu what total sales, monthly total sales for all branches. So maknanya daripada soalan-soalan tu dia akan capture, dia akan collect data related to the objective and question tadi. So dia boleh, maknanya dia punya data analysis tu is more valuable lah, that can give meaningful kepada dia orang untuk make decision. Okay, so figure out which two or four the analyzing the data to get the best result of the question. So that's the second process. And then the third one is data collection, collect data that is useful to answer the question. So dia kena adalah data. So dia nak ada objektif tadi, dia soalan-soalan yang ditanya tu, so data yang dia kena collect also the data related to the question. Okay, dia nak to get the answer of the question. So the collection of data ni dia boleh dapatkan daripada any of the sources, mainly daripada sistem accounting system lah, daripada dia punya own system, transaction system, ataupun daripada sources yang lain lah, contohnya daripada media sosial, daripada lain-lain lagi lah, collection of data. Okay, tak semestinya yang daripada sistem saja. Okay, so dia boleh gunakan data-data daripada luar juga. Maybe that will give more meaningful to the dia punya data analysis. Okay, then the next process, data scrubbing. So data scrubbing ni actually kita tak, untuk you punya application ni kita tak go into detail about data scrubbing, tapi in the real process memang perlu buatlah data scrubbing ni. Maksudnya kat sini dia, bila dia collect data from the variety of sources, so dia punya data-data tu mungkin ada data yang in the different format ataupun data-data yang ada junk value, clutter dan sebagainya lah. Maknanya dia kena clean semua tu. So sebelum dia buat data analysis, the data should be clean dulu and then barulah dia boleh convert so that they can do the analysis. Itu kita panggil data scrubbing. Okay, raw data can be obtained in variety of different format with lots of junk values and clutter. So dia kena clean dulu data-data tu. So yang untuk you punya application PBL ni, kita put assumption data tu dah clean lah. Lalu then you do the analysis part. Okay, tapi in the real process memang dia akan melalui dulu cleaning of data ni, scrubbing ni. So ada juga dalam chapter 5 ada detail juga about the data scrubbing ni. Okay, then data analysis. So this where we import this new clean data into the data analysis tool. So for our case, kita akan gunakan Microsoft Excel as a tool untuk do the data analysis. So kalau you remember, kalau you attend the webinar previously tu, dia ada mention about some of the software programming yang boleh digunakan as a tool untuk data analysis. Okay, macam Python, R software, banyak lagi lah. Tapi for our case, kita gunakan Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel pun boleh digunakan lah untuk data analysis. Cuma Microsoft Excel ni, because biasa Microsoft Excel ni, that's a common software biasa orang gunakan. So that's ada juga company-company yang gunakan Excel. Okay, so this is the feedback yang kita gunakan Excel pun, kita dapat feedback daripada industri. Company-company guna Excel untuk data analysis. Okay, so mungkin big company dia tak gunalah Excel sebab dia ada lot of big data, so mungkin dia perlukan program yang lagi power lah. Tapi for our purpose, kita gunakan Excel dah cukup lah, okay, untuk bagi exposure for you untuk for the big data and analysis of data. So this tool allow you to explore the data, find the patterns, answer what if question. Okay, so the tools akan digunakan untuk untuk answer all the question early tadi. Okay, then the last process, they will draw the conclusion daripada analysis of data tadi. Draw conclusions from your data. So this conclusion may be summarized in a report, visual or both. Okay, to get the right result. So kita maknanya daripada analysis of data tu, dia boleh draw the conclusion. Okay, sama ada dia boleh do the prediction, dia boleh forecast dan sebagainya lah. Maknanya dia boleh make a decision daripada analysis of data tadi. So dia present the data tu dalam pelbagai bentuk lah. It can be a report ataupun in our case kita akan produce the Excel dashboard. Okay, Excel dashboard. So that's one of the data visualization juga. Okay, so pernah dengar dashboard kan? Familiar with the word dashboard? Biasa dashboard ni kita cerita pasal apa kalau you sebut pasal dashboard? Anyone? Okay, is it I have a problem with my computer? Saya tak dengar you ada respon. Saya tak dengar suara you. Is it you respond to my question sebab saya tak dengar? So, memang you tak respond? Hello? Can anybody respond to my question verbally?
Hello.
Dengar sebab saya macam diam senyap je, saya takut saya punya komputer yang masalah. Okay, so summary of data. Alright, betul. So that's one of the function lah, dia nak summarize. Macam contoh katakan you you tengok dashboard kereta tu kan. So at the glance you tahu sebab satu tempat tu you boleh nampak semua perkara. You nak get the information about the fuel penuh ke tidak kat kereta you kan, ataupun kilometer per hour berapa, contohlah temperature. So at the glance satu tempat tu you boleh nampak semua. Okay, ni saya tunjukkan contoh. Tapi ni tak berapa cantik lah. This is I took from my previous training ni saya buat Excel dashboard. So ini data-data yang dikumpulkan, big data, is quite big data juga ni, kumpul data COVID-19 cases. Tapi ni up to September 2020, last year punya data. Okay, so maknanya kat sini the dashboard ni, okay, so ini dia panggil slicer ni. Kalau you nampak kat atas ni slicer, maknanya dia boleh pick any date here. Okay, so kalau saya pick date ni, dia nampak date berubah tu. For September, 5 September. Okay, and then appearance of the chart. Okay, it can be any of the chart. You boleh letak chart, bar chart ni, ataupun ini kecil sangat ni, dia panggil apa tu, pie chart. So in Excel also you can include the map. Okay, map, ada map. Alright, so contoh saya ambil satu date, so you nampak dia punya perubahan tu, ada 4 September cumulative case, and then new case akan berubahlah figure tu. So bila dia pick any of it, you boleh nampak dia punya information appear kat sini, and then you boleh nampak ada perubahan dekat map juga ni. Sepatutnya kat sini dia ada perubahan, tapi I'm not sure kat mana silap dia, ada maybe the back end dia ada silap sikit. Okay, and then this is where I boleh pick juga daripada sini, the list of the state in Malaysia ni. So contoh saya pick one state, tekan Johor. Okay, so nampak dia punya data info dekat sini terus appear about the Johor area dalam, dia panggil apa, area dalam Johor lah. Okay, nama-nama daerah kat sini, and then the information dalam chart ni. Okay, kalau saya pick Selangor, so dia akan automatically ubah ke Selangor dan seterusnya lah. So ini salah satu tools ataupun visualization. This is more kepada data visualization. So yang ni you akan belajar lah nanti macam mana nak create a chart and others visualization lagi selain daripada chart in your dashboard. So this is what we call Excel dashboard. Okay, so kalau you tengok dekat tab ni ada banyak lagi lah ni. This is semua back end punya data. Ada pivot table, okay, data-data ni. So so instead of kita bagi data dalam bentuk raw data macam ni, okay, so it's more useful bila kita masuk, kita tunjukkan dalam bentuk dashboard, bila orang nampak in one page tu, all the information is there. So and then you boleh juga kita panggil apa tu, interaktif punya dashboard. Maknanya you pilih contoh kat sini kita pilih date ni, so dia akan the information appear according to the date, and ataupun pilih state contohnya. Okay, so ini kita panggil sebagai interaktif lah. So you boleh create ni, kita akan tengok nanti. So this one data visualization will be included dalam Microsoft Excel manual Excel nanti dalam part 3. Saya tak upload lagi, saya hanya kalau you check dekat you punya Google Classroom, saya baru upload part 2. So kita akan ada part 3. Part 3 ni yang last lah, yang untuk data visualization dan juga dashboard. Okay, so nanti yang tu kita akan buat after you punya break nanti, second break nanti kan. So saya akan upload part 3 punya. Okay, so this is example. Okay, I go back to my slide ni. Example of the data Excel dashboard lah. Okay, so you get the picture where you going to produce the dashboard nantilah untuk PBL. Alright, so the next one I'm going to highlight also about the Excel manual part 1 ni. So hopefully you dah explore the manual, okay. So you need to this one memang saya tak akan go with you in detail. Maknanya saya tak akan buat in class lah, the step by step tu, because in the manual pun ada clearly mention the step, the process. So hopefully you boleh follow the manual tu, and then you explore how to use the formula and function dalam part 1 ni, Excel manual part 1 ni. Alright. So if you ada beginner, maknanya chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 ni is important lah. Maknanya kat sini you nak kena familiar with the features Excel tu. So kalau dah biasa guna Excel, the chapter 4 and 5 ni is quite advanced daripada beginner lah. So maknanya you dah apply formula and function tu untuk manipulate data. So untuk data analysis ni memang perlu juga information, your knowledge untuk how you going to manipulate the data. Menggunakan tools Excel ni, dia boleh gunakan ada function, features, formula dan juga functions. So boleh gunakan those formula and function untuk manipulating of data. So boleh digunakan nanti untuk data analysis. Okay, so ada beberapa functions yang you biasa, mungkin dah biasa guna macam sum function kan, biasa gunakan sum function. Okay, mungkin dah biasa guna minimum or maximum. So kalau mungkin yang you maybe new for you, macam matching and lookup ni maybe new lah. Okay, so that's one of the Excel functions yang power juga untuk do the matching and lookup ni. So you explore semua-semua function ni termasuk conditional formatting. Okay, so setakat yang sampai hari ni, minggu ni, you dah explore sampai mana untuk your the part 1 punya manual?
Baru
More
chapter 3.
Chapter 3. Tu kena cepat sikit tu. Okay, chapter 3 alright, good. Tak apa, you can take on your own pace, tapi next week kita akan masuk part 2. Okay, so at least minggu ni you dah explore juga, go into sampai function and formula, right? So next week kita akan dah advance sikit daripada ni. Part 2 tu yang you, kalau you tengok dalam GC ada part 2, that one kita akan go advance lagi daripada function and formula ni. Kita akan guna pivot table. Pivot table is quite a powerful tool untuk Excel ni. So yang tu yang paling maknanya kalau you belajar, you tahu guna pivot table tu, insyaAllah lah nanti you kerja nanti senang. Okay, sebab biasa kalau in the company dia nak manipulate data tu banyak guna pivot table. So kalau you tahu guna pivot table, nanti insyaAllah. Okay, so you orang suka nanti you tahu pivot table. Okay, okay, so that one you nanti you finish on this part 1. Okay, alright. Then I want to go through this scenario ni sebab saya nak you faham betul-betul the case of the PBL. Saya go through with you the PBL case ni. Sebab yang ni yang you nak kena buat ni. Okay, so basically this case, okay, this about the company yang trading company. Okay, they sold few product ni. Saya highlight the important information kat sini ni. Okay, so now your role untuk maknanya kat sini you akan assist the company, especially yang kalau mention, kalau you baca ni dia punya representative of the sales department, Muhammad Syafiee ni. Okay, so you're going to assist him to do the data analysis lah, data management and analysis. So kalau you refer to the first and second paragraph is more related information about the company. Okay, so the company growing after the 3 years and then dia dah start grow, ada additional store, ada hire more on the salesman, and then because of that they face the challenges due to the large volume of data. So this is where dia punya challenge dekat sini lah. Macam dah lebih daripada 3 tahun dia beroperasi, so dia punya transaction data dia banyak, so macam mana dia nak handle all that volume of data, and then increasingly receiving requests for different data analysis. So this is where the sales department face the challenge lah dekat sini. Okay, so in the company they use Microsoft Excel to analyze sales data from accounting system and other system, including social media, internet traffic. Okay, this is the one that I mentioned tadi. The data is not necessary from the transaction processing saja. It can be from the other sources. Okay, termasuk social media, internet traffic dan sebagainya lah. Okay, so he asks you and your accounting department team. So maknanya your role sekarang ni, you as a accounting department team to advise and assist him in developing a data-driven approach plan for dealing with the data management and analysis of the business. So I want you to find out what is the meaning of data-driven approach. So kalau you Google ada definition ni, so you tahu maknanya you bila you faham kenapa dia gunakan data driven approach ni untuk maknanya untuk assist the sales department ni, okay, with the data management and analysis. Okay, so you find out what is the meaning of data driven approach. Okay, and then and also you find out here your team lah, you and your team discover a lack of structure in the data model. Okay, so this is where we going to go into detail about the data model. So maknanya dia punya structure of data ada lack of structure in data model lah. Okay, so that we created in the Excel tu ada lack of structure in data model. So you propose to the Shafi'i to create effective data model. So now you come up with this ERD. So dalam soalan case ni, ERD tu telah disediakan. Maknanya you tak perlu lagi nak create ERD. So this is the ERD already created by the maknanya dalam contoh ni the accounting team lah. You and your team dah create the ERD. Okay, so now the Shafi'i is confident that your team plan will help the business make better data-driven decision. So now the requirement kat sini, A, create a set of relational table. Okay, so this is the, you kena create the relational table. Okay, what is the relational table? To store the data based on the ERD generated above, state clearly the table and their field or attributes as well as primary key and foreign key. So actually yang ni, you kena refresh balik apa yang kita dah buat dalam chapter 24. Kita dah buat database design hari tu. So benda yang sama. Okay, tapi hari ni pun saya akan go through sikit with you so that you ingat balik yang kita dah buat hari tu about the data model. After this, I akan go through about this relational data table. So this is the one yang you kena masukkan dalam you punya report nanti. Then describe the relationship. So ERD dah ada, dia dah mention the type of relationship ya, one to many, many to one and so on. So now in your answer, so you need to describe the relationship, okay, between the entities. So that's the second requirement. Then the third one, demonstrate the soundness of your design by entering dummy data in each table. Okay, dummy data ni maknanya you kena provide raw data dalam Excel tu. Okay, for the year 2020 and 2021. So maknanya 2 tahun lah data yang you nak kena create dalam Excel nanti. Okay, tapi yang penting sekarang ni saya nak you fokus untuk A and B ni because this is the main, the paling penting lah. Kalau you silap dekat sini, nanti akan ada masalah bila you nak buat analysis of data. So, saya nak you discuss nanti for requirement A ni. Then I want you to submit the draft for the answer of the draft untuk A, and then I will check dulu. Okay, and then barulah you proceed untuk you enter data dan sebagainya lah ataupun untuk buat analisis selepas tu. Okay, sebab you imagine you nak buat rumah you nak isi data dalam tu, rumah tu kena betul dulu, structure dia kena betul. Okay, so I want to make sure your structure betul, and then barulah you can do the next part, create the dummy data, you want to do the analysis of data and so on. Okay, so saya akan tunjukkan nanti the timeline nanti bila you nak kena submit draft ni. Tapi yang saya nak you fokus untuk minggu ni, this one. Okay. Then after that, okay, saya go through lagi sikit lagi ni yang you punya case ni. Recently the GM, General Manager of this business also request to implement a proper data management analysis to identify the business strength and weaknesses. Okay, related to the sales and product performance, customer management and employees performance. So kalau you teruskan baca this paragraph ni, actually this is where they mention the objective of the data analysis sebenarnya. So sebenarnya GM tu nak analyse data further, data yang dah ada tu dia nak analyse, and then those are the objective mention yang saya highlight ini adalah objective of the data analysis. So actually the question tu dia dah summarize in this table dalam requirement D ni. So actually they have 3 objective for analysing the data: to analyse sales and product performance, analysing customer interaction, and analyzing staff performance. Okay, they propose also the analysis apalah. So this is the, kalau ikutkan macam seolah-olah question us lah kat sini. Okay, sales trend analysis by month dan seterusnya lah that related to the objective. So this is the requirement D, perform the following analysis with appropriate visualization. So maknanya each of the analysis tu, you kena also present dia dalam bentuk visualization. Sama ada chart ataupun pie chart or any visualize lah, tak semestinya chart saja. Ada lagi other types of visualization together with the analysis. And then make sure you check juga rubric dalam Google Classroom. Saya letak sekali dengan question tu, ada 2 rubric, presentation rubric dengan report rubric. Make sure you check the rubric so that you tahu kita evaluate dekat mana. Macam mana you nak get the full mark ataupun kalau you give that answer, takat mana kita boleh bagi marks nanti. So kalau misal kata kat sini they put other relevant analysis ni, so kalau you ada rasa you can propose any other relevant analysis selain daripada that mentioned question pun boleh letak lah. Okay, so this is the requirement D. Okay, so the Shafi'i prepared a series of data analysis that highlight how the company has performed in the past, how it is currently performed, and how it will perform in the future. So nanti you go into detail lah the question ni. Okay, so this then they're seeking you, the Shafi'i seeking you and the department team to discuss which data should be analysed and how the result should be presented. So inilah maknanya you discuss atau with the team tu, you come up with this analysis ni and then how it's presented ni that you use the appropriate visualization. And then you propose creating the dashboard from Excel. Okay, as a visual interface that provide at a glance view into key measures relevant to the company's performance. So this is where you going also to create the dashboard. Okay, so kalau tengok requirement H ni, create the interactive Excel dashboard macam saya tunjuk tadi lah, to visualize the analysis performed in D. Okay, and then others that including in the question, justify each type of the visualization that you choose. So dekat atas ni, you choose visualization for each of the analysis ni, then you need to justify kenapa you pilih that visualization. Okay, kalau you refer chapter 7, ada banyak teori-teori kat situ. So you can use also that as your reference untuk you find the reasoning kenapa you ataupun you choose that type of visualization. Okay, nanti dalam part 3 punya Excel pun akan ada lah. Akan ada sentuh juga about that. Okay, then discuss the highlight, discuss the issues, discuss the significant recommendation. Ini yang F and G yang should be also included in the report. Okay, so you need to prepare the report tu, including report ni maksudnya managerial report. So dalam report tu you kena masukkan semua answers ni. So yang ni just nak give you the guideline so that you tahu what gambaran the managerial report ni. Okay, on the sales performance for the 2 years tu, 2020-2021. Okay, so semua answers tu masuk dalam ni. So format dia macam ni lah. Okay, and then one of the content tu, you kena include also business profile and activities. So ni you kena decide ni. Okay, and then sama juga. Okay, you need to know, you kena decide within your team members, the management team, business information, the product which are relevant to be described lah. So maksudnya kat sini you kena, sebab the question ni blanket, dia tak mention apa-apa produk. So it up to your team, you punya group untuk decide you nak jual produk apa ataupun your business tu related to what business. So dalam ni ada beberapa information yang you kena tengok lah, the first 3 paragraph ni. So you boleh kaitkan that that can assist you to make a decision what are the business that you going to create untuk PBL case ni. Okay, semua je sebut kat sini trading company, so product lah. So you kena decide because in order for you to enter dummy data pun you kena tahu jugalah you nak jual produk apa kan. So that you kalau tak you tak tahu nak masukkan raw data apa. So before you proceed to C ni, so you dah ada discussion, you dah decide on the tadi the what type of business, okay, and then also your punya data structure ni, right? So basically untuk the PBL ni, this is the 3 perkara lah yang you nak kena submit nanti. Okay, Excel dashboard which I want you to submit Excel file nanti later on. Then managerial report, the written report pun perlu. Yang tadi yang requirement yang last kali tu. Okay, then video presentation. So kalau face to face dulu memang kita minta you present lah in front of class. Tapi ni for the ODL, we just ask you to submit the video presentation lah. Semua team member perlu present. Then you submit the video presentation. Okay, yang ni pun ada rubrik. So make sure you look at daripada rubrik. So you tahulah kat mana penilaian yang dibuat. Okay, so you can get as much mark as possible. So kita dah beritahu dah evaluation dekat mana kan. So you tengok the rubrik tu. Termasuk juga report pun ada rubrik. Okay, so this is the thing yang you kena submit lah later on nanti. Okay, saya tunjukkan dekat sini the timeline. Kita dulu kat timeline. Okay. Sebab saya nak you submit the draft untuk relational table tadi, requirement A ni, on the 20th December. So for this week, you focus dulu, discuss among you, the requirement A tadi, and then you show me your draft. Okay, saya akan check so that saya make sure your punya structure, data structure tu betul, data model tu betul. Okay, barulah you proceed untuk enter the dummy data into the Excel table tu. Okay, so saya letak kat sini on the 20th December lah, next week. So ada masa lagi lah, dalam masa seminggu ni you discuss. Then apa nama ni, you hantar nanti through the Google Classroom lah. Okay, so saya akan mention nanti. Okay, saya proceed sedikit pasal data model ni so that you refresh apa yang you nak kena buat about the requirement A tadi. Okay, anything before I proceed ni ada nak tanya? Okay.
Madam.
Yes.
Kiranya nanti yang draft tu memang hantar yang soalan A tu je lah.
Yes, saya minta yang A je. Yang dummy data tu tak perlu apa-apa. Even yang B pun saya tak you tak hantar pun tak apa. Saya nak tahu structure tu kena betul. Okay, saya tunjukkan nanti what kind of the answers that I expect from you lah nanti untuk A. Okay, nanti ada dalam slide ni. Okay, I proceed to data model ni. Okay, so actually you ingat balik yang kita dah discuss masa chapter 24 about this one. Designing the effective data model, this is relate to the relational database or relational data set. Okay, kalau you ingat itu kita cerita pasal relational database is the type of database that organize data into tables. Maknanya kita simpan data dalam table and then each of the table have relationship. Kita link from one table to another table. Okay, based on the defined relationship. So they have 5 steps involved here to design the effective data model. Step 1, identify entity. Step 2, determine the relationship of the entity. Step 3, create the ERD. Step 4, decide on the attributes to the table of the entity. And then create link for the multiple tables. Okay, so actually step 1, step 2 and 3 ni already done in the, kalau ikut dalam case tu, dalam PBL dah buat lah. Maknanya entity dah ada based on the ERD tu. So dah ada ERD kan, so based on ERD kita dah tahu ada entity yang mention dalam ERD tu. And then the relationship pun dah tahu, whereby dalam ERD pun dah deep mention one to many relationship tu. Cuma yang dalam B saja they want you to describe the relationship. Okay. And then yang A, requirement A yang dekat step 4 ni, decide the attributes on the table of the entity. Okay, and then step 5 ni saya tak akan discuss lagi hari ni. Yang ni actually related to the pivot table that I'm going to go into detail next week. Okay, sebab saya nak you fokus dulu dekat sini and then baru kita masuk pivot table application dekat Excel nanti. So yang step 5 ni is more kepada application macam mana you nak link table dalam Excel. Okay, so nanti saya akan discuss next week lah that one. So this is the first step. So actually these notes yang saya buat slide ni you can get from the Excel manual part 2 chapter 9. Saya tunjuk kat sini ni. Saya screen capture sikit dekat dalam part 2 manual. Chapter 9 is related to data model. So ada 3 subtopic under data model tu. So actually the information that I discuss yang dalam slide ni is I took from the that manual. So they give the example dalam manual tu related to the revenue cycle. So more kepada sales activity. So they identify given the example three entities, invoice, customer dengan produk. Okay, so meaning kalau each of the transaction ataupun sistem ke apa nama ni, the database tu you kena identify entity dululah. Okay, so then the second step determine the relationship of the entity. So we already discussed about this in the chapter 24. Okay, apa relationship dia. And then kalau for the contoh yang dalam manual tu they have between the customer and product many to many relationship, customer and invoice one to many, and product and invoice many to many relationship. Okay, so this is the one yang requirement B, describe the relationship. So maknanya you punya answers for B tu should describe macam yang contoh ni. Okay, contoh kalau between customer and product entity, each customer buys many product and each product is bought by many customer. So this example of the description untuk relationship tu. So this kalau you untuk menjawab requirement B tu, this is kind of answers yang should be expected lah daripada sini macam ni. Okay, tapi yang ni nanti dalam draft you tak submit pun tak apa. Yang saya nak adalah attributes. Okay, so tak sampai lagi kat situ. Kita go through step number 3 ni. So ERD pun dah ada dalam case tu dah ada ERD, cuma kalau we go through the actual step ni, dia kena create ERD lah lepas tu. Lepas pada you dah identify the entity, dah tahu dah relationship dia, and then you kena create the ERD. But make sure before you create the ERD, you already identify any of the many to many relationship, you need to break up that relationship with the junction table. Okay, kita dah discuss itu kenapa perlu ada junction table kan. So dalam relational database, they do not support the many to many relationship. So that's why kita kena ada satu table ataupun entity in between many to many relationship to break up the many to many relationship. Alright. So in this case, example ni dia letakkan product list antara product and invoice, many to many relationship tadi. So dia jadilah relationship tu one product will be listed in the product list many time, and each item in the list is only for the one product. Okay, one invoice might contain many product in the list and each item in the list is only for the one invoice. So this is the description of the relationship. Macam contoh tadi lah description ni description. So ini pun description ni. Okay, so kalau you nak describe nanti lebih kurang macam ni lah. Okay, you need to describe detail macam mana relationship tu between the entity. Okay, so bila dah tahu which table yang perlu masukkan junction table, so you can table semua entity in the ERD diagram. Okay. Okay, and then kita tengok step number 4. Okay, yang ni yang requirement A tadi. Okay, once the ERD has been determined, next to build the data set or table for all the entities in the ERD. So this is the relational table. So daripada ERD tadi, product list, invoice and customer. So you need to identify the attributes. So you punya requirement A ni dalam bentuk ni lah. So each of the entity listed in the ERD, you identify the attributes. Okay, attributes macam contoh ni, this is all the attributes bawah ni. Okay, and then also identify the primary key. Okay, primary key. Okay, semua ni adalah column heading. Kalau dalam Excel ni column heading lah. Okay, for the data set or data field. Okay, and then kalau ada, of course akan ada lah foreign key. Sebab foreign key ni that dengan adanya foreign key yang create the relationship that can be established relationship between the entity. Alright, then normally for the junction table, it can be two foreign key that can use as the primary key that we call it as the concatenated primary key. Kita dah discuss juga benda ni dalam chapter 24 hari tu. Tapi kalau you nak adakan satu primary key instead of using this one, you boleh juga create one dedicated primary key untuk product list ni. Kalau nak lah, kalau you tak nak buat primary key, you boleh gunakan dua-dua foreign key ni sebagai primary key. Tapi dalam bahasa data relational database, dia tak panggil lah, dia tak panggil foreign key, dia panggil concatenated primary key. Tapi ni just untuk junction table saja yang berlaku condition macam ni. Okay, kalau bukan junction table, dia hanya ada satu foreign key saja untuk create the relationship. Alright, so now untuk requirement A tu, you kena draft your answer ni dalam bentuk ni lah, with the table. Okay, the table with the relationship. Okay, tunjukkan relationship dia and then identify which field or which attributes that you use as the primary key and also as the foreign key in the answer nanti. Okay, so clear Yang ni yang saya nak you draft dulu. So ini penting. Ini penting sebab yang ni lah you nak masukkan raw data nanti, dummy data. So maknanya you identify the attributes ni. So attributes ni lah nanti maknanya is represent the column tu. So raw data, dummy data yang you nak design or create tu based on the attributes. So yang structure ni kena betul. Macam seolah you fikirkan you buat rumah lah, rumah untuk data. So rumah tu kena ada dulu rumah dia. You nak isi data tu dekat mana, bilik-bilik dia contohnya kan. So field ataupun attributes tu bilik-bilik dalam rumah tu. So data tu you nak simpan dalam setiap bilik dalam attributes tu. So kena ada dulu structure. Kalau structure tu tak betul, nanti akan bagi masalah you bila you nak buat analysis. Okay. So then make sure you include meaningful attributes. Okay, so you carilah attributes, maknanya you fikirkan attributes yang relevant lah. So you kena relate dengan analysis juga. So you nak analyse data apa. So attributes tu kena ada all those data. So maknanya kalau you punya attributes tak include data yang you nak analyse, so macam mana nak analyse data tu kan. So you kena relate juga dengan data that you want to analyse so that you can give meaningful report nanti later on. So you boleh buat analysis of data based on the attributes tu and then it can give meaningful report. So dia berkait lah. So daripada awal tu you dah sediakan ruang data-data yang you nak simpan data berkenaan dengan apa. So that data can be analysed and then you produce the report kemudian. Okay. So nanti you discuss among your team members what are those attributes untuk you punya case PBL nanti. Okay, so ini saya tunjukkan lagi sekali kalau dalam bentuk Excel lah. Ni pun saya dah tunjukkan waktu kita discuss hari tu dalam chapter 24. So kalau misal kata dalam Excel table ni, so this the raw data lah, maknanya you kena isi lah semua ni. Nanti ini dummy data ni. Okay, the customer ID, the product ID, product name, customer invoice, semua ni. Okay, so kalau untuk relationship from the product and product list table just now kan, one to many. So you tengok kita ambil contoh product ID CH01 ni. So dia appear many times in the product list table. Okay, dan ada product ID ni. And this is one to many relationship lah. And sama juga dengan antara invoice dengan product list. So for one invoice will be appear many times in the product list table. Okay, and this one invoice ni is related to one invoice number. Okay, so one to many relationship. Okay, sama juga antara customer dengan invoice, one to many relationship. So these are the raw ataupun dummy data nanti yang you nak kena masukkan. So kalau based on the requirement C just now, 2 years of transaction data lah, 2 years data untuk 2020 and year 2021. So at least maknanya you boleh estimate sebab kita nak tengok large volume of data kan untuk 2 tahun. So meaning untuk 1 bulan tu at least 5 to 10 transaction occur. So maknanya you nak kena create the data transaction, data, dummy data tu at least untuk 1 bulan punya transaction ada 5 to 10 transaction untuk 1 bulan lah. At least. You can be more tapi tak, kalau kurang daripada 5 tu kita kata transaction you tak banyak lah kan. So you kena create lah transaction dummy data tu, masukkan dalam Excel table nanti. Bila dah ada structure tu dah betul, you boleh create table dalam Excel and then you boleh masukkan data dalam table. Okay. Okay, so itu yang then you kena ingatkan juga ini. Okay, kita discuss juga itu pasal normalization. So you kena apply the normalization ni when you create the ERD tadi ataupun create the relational data set tadi, relational table. So the normalization, the process of organizing database to maximize efficiency and minimize the likelihood of data redundancy. Okay, so we did discuss masa chapter 24 itu, di mana kalau contoh contohlah kita ambil customer dengan invoice ni. So normally bila kita kata normalization, tak ada lagi redundancy. So kita dah letak contoh customer ID ni, customer ID will be appear as the foreign key dalam invoice table kan. Ni nampak tak customer ID punya table column ni. Okay, customer ID ni. So each of the customer ID dalam invoice table, okay, so dia dah ada foreign key for the customer ID, meaning kita kata tak ada redundancy, bermakna you tak perlu lagi masukkan attributes related to the customer in the invoice table. Hanya cukup you letak the foreign key sahaja. Okay, sebab kalau misal kata you letak lagi dalam invoice table ni, dia punya customer name, contohnya you nak letak lagi customer gender, so meaning you 2 kali you key in data yang sama. So tak efficient lah kan. So kalau imagine you nak masukkan data, large amount of data ni, customer table you masuk customer name ada, and then invoice table you nak masuk lagi customer name. Okay, so tak efficient lah, maknanya you punya sistem tu. Itu kita kata you punya data tak normalize, you punya table tak normalization. So normalization ni you tak perlu ada duplication of data. Cukup kalau bila dah ada foreign key ni, the system akan detect. Okay, dia boleh tahu dia A001 is refer to Ahmad. Okay, refer to Ahmad. B001 is refer to Bahari. So the system will know. So tak perlu lagi dalam table invoice you want to again duplicate data about the name, about the address dan sebagainya. So itu one of the concept of normalization. So you kena apply nanti bila you buat Excel table nanti, you masukkan dummy data, you buat structure of data, data model tu, jangan ada duplication of data or redundancy of data. Okay, so kena apply dah concept of normalization ni. So kalau you lupa ni pasal normalization, go back to the kita discuss masa chapter 24 itu. Okay, so refresh balik. So benda yang sama. Okay, benda yang sama that we apply untuk PBL case. Alright. Okay, so yang step 5 ni saya tak akan cerita lagi. Yang ni saya akan go into detail nanti next week. Okay, next week saya akan ceritakan pasal ni. Untuk the pivot table ni. Okay, pivot table. Sebab saya nak fokus kepada saya tunjuk lagi sekali the timeline ni. Yang ni. Saya nak you fokus ini dulu. Okay, biar you punya data structure tu betul for this week. Okay, kita buat step by step. This week you fokus kepada data model, and then next week lah. Okay, submit. Saya akan minta you submit dekat Google Classroom. Okay, so lepas ni please update dekat Google Sheet. Saya dah letak add satu kolom untuk you tick the representative of your group untuk you punya group. Okay, pilih seorang the members tu untuk as a representative sebab saya akan assign dalam Google Classroom nanti. Okay, so saya akan assign dalam Google Classroom. So you update dekat Google Sheet. Ada lagi kan link, sharing link tu, you pergi dekat Google Sheet tu, you just tick dekat kolom. Saya dah letak dekat kolom untuk representative. Alright, so nanti saya akan assign lah deadline 20th December. If let's say you boleh submit awal, you boleh submit awal lah. Saya akan create nanti assignment dalam Google Classroom. Okay, tapi before you proceed untuk dummy data ataupun data analysis untuk buat pivot table, saya nak kena make sure you betul dulu data structure tu. So saya akan check dulu. Okay, so next week saya akan go into detail this pivot table. So saya akan go through part 2 punya manual. So nanti you download part 2 punya manual tu. Saya akan go through with you the pivot table. So, but this is the one yang the main things yang untuk buat data analysis. Okay, so data analysis nanti banyak menggunakan pivot table. Okay, and then after the break, I will upload part 3 manual. So yang tu kita akan fokus kepada chart and visualization. Okay, so you dah buat analysis of data gunakan pivot table ni, and then macam mana you nak represent your data gunakan chart and visualization. So kita akan tengok dekat part 3 termasuk juga dashboard lah. Okay, so submission of your work nanti during week 13 and week 14. Untuk presentation, recorded presentation video tu on the 21st January and harian terakhir, minggu terakhir tu 28 January untuk report. Okay, so minggu yang berbeza lah, you submit report kemudian submit dulu recorded video. Alright, clear so ni dah ada timeline, so please jangan buat last minute. Okay, you still have about 6 weeks termasuk minggu yang break tu 7 minggu lah kan. So start from the data model dulu. Okay, so you can start slowly create the dummy data. Okay, so I think itu je yang saya nak terangkan untuk hari ni. So you can proceed with the discussion after this untuk you discuss the draft untuk answer untuk data requirement A, and also you kena decide lah. Decide, brainstorm dulu within your group member nak buat business apa, nak jual produk apa. Okay, so that one included in the business profile nanti you nak kena masukkan. Okay, you nak decide untuk masuk dummy data pun you kena tahulah kan produk apa nak jual. So dia semua tu berkait. So you kena decide dulu that thing this week. Okay, tapi saya nak perlukan you punya draft tu hanya A saja. B tu tak perlu. Okay, yang penting A tu kena betul. Requirement A. Okay. Anything yang nak tanya? Saya rasa saya dah ada apa lagi kita tertinggal.
Nak tanya boleh?
Boleh.
Yang first tu, relational table tu, kita kena buat dekat Excel ke tak payah dulu?
Tak payah dulu, tak apa. You just draft dulu your answer. Cuma saya nak tahu you punya attributes tu betul. Okay, and then your primary key nak tahu betul ke tidak. Foreign key kena betul. Itu yang saya nak check. Okay, so you clearly mention the attributes ni. You nak masuk attribute apa. Okay, and then ni lah. Sebab dalam requirement A pun memang minta you clearly mention primary key and foreign key. Tak buat dalam Excel dulu pun tak apa. You just draft in dalam tak kisahlah nak lampu asalkan saya boleh nampak dalam bentuk ni lah. Okay?
Okay. Jelas. Thank you.
Make sure you punya, bila you decide the attributes tu, you tengok the analysis, data analysis apa you nak analyse ni. Sebenarnya dia tu pun berkait juga tu, you nak analyse data ni, sometimes dia punya data you nak analyse nanti you kena masukkan attribute related to the analysis ni. Okay, will be related. Tapi tak apa, misal kata saya akan tengok dulu you punya data structure tu, at least you punya primary key betul, foreign key betul. Later on kalau you decide ada lagi additional attributes yang you masuk, sekarang ni you tak nampak, bila you nak buat analysis baru perasan attributes ada, you boleh tambah lah kemudian. Okay, tapi yang tu tak ada masalah kalau you nak tambah later on the attribute, sebab yang penting you punya foreign key dengan primary key tu biasa yang tu tak berubah lah. Tu kena betul. Alright. Okay. Ada apa-apa lagi soalan? Okay, boleh Okay, so kalau tak ada apa, I think saya stop sampai sini. So you have kalau ikutkan ada another 1 hour lagi ni, you boleh discuss lah kan within the group. Then make sure you update the Google Sheet.